What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Just finished watching the match, and Barcelona dropped their first points of the season 1-1 at the Vallecas against Vallecano. What a terrible performance from Barcelona. A crazy game, to say the least, and this is the kind of game that I came to this match expecting. It was cagey, it was end-to-end, controversy, everything was there, and it always is in a Barcelona Rayo Vallecano clash, especially over recent years. But tonight the points are shared. No last minute winner for Barcelona, as they do go into the international break with 7 out of 9 points. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number One Foot. Number One Foot is by far the best replica jersey website on the market, and it's not even close. They have a variety of different items at the absolute best prices. They sent me 2 kits recently. First one is the retro Barcelona kit, the home kit, which I'm currently wearing right now, and also as well the second kit for that season in the blue edition. Oh my god, like, the stitching is fantastic, the quality is, superb. Feels like I have the actual, original kit for a fraction of the price. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get 10% off your order. That's BOY. Use it at checkout, and all orders above $80 as well will receive free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Hit the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. The starting lineup for this match is on the screen for you right now, with Joel Garcia in goal, a back four of Jules Kounde, Eric Garcia, Andreas Christensen, and Alejandro Balde. Midfield three of Frankie de Jong, Dani Olmo, and Pedri. Front three of Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, and Raphinha. There was big changes in this game. Double change in the defense. Both the starting center backs for the season, Araujo and Kubarsi, dropped to the bench. We saw our right back Eric Garcia get moved into the middle, Kounde coming on the right hand side, and Christensen coming in at left center back. The rest of the changes were expected. We expected De Jong to come back, Olmo to come back as well. No Lewandowski from the start yet, but those changes in the back line were the big surprise heading into this match. Now, the only goal scored this match for Barcelona was scored by Lamine Yamal from the penalty spot. His first penalty for Barcelona, first attempt, first goal. There's why I want to bring up this. I usually don't talk about the goals when we don't win the game, because it's kind of, what's the point? But the reason why I want to talk about this is, of course, the penalty shout, where I've seen a lot of people saying it's not a penalty. Of course, non-Barcelona fans, and all the Barcelona fans saying it is a penalty because he was taken down. I think this one, to be honest, looking from a non-biased perspective, is a 50-50. I think if it gets given, VAR wouldn't overturn it. I think if it was not given, VAR wouldn't give it. It's one of those kind of decisive moments for the referee to make the decision in that moment. I think it's not too far-fetched to call it a penalty by any means necessary, but great, calm, cool, collected penalty from Lamine to score his first penalty for Barcelona. Not enough, though, to mark it with a win. So overall, the team performance rating on the night, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. By far the worst performance of the season so far. Very reminiscent of that Levante first half. We were just piss poor on all front. Now, the pitch has somewhat of a part to play, not making it an excuse, just laying the facts out there. The pitch was absolutely fucking horrendous. I saw a view in the first 2 minutes or so, the ball coming to Joel Garcia, bounced about fucking 19 times in that short pass. Absolutely embarrassing pitch. We're seeing players slipping, falling, passes have no power, and getting stopped by all the divots in the pitch. It's not an excuse, but it's a factor. But it's not taken away from the fact of how poor we were. I think in transition in the final third, we were absolutely beyond poor. I think the midfield held its own, and the defense was holding on quite a few times. The goal conceded, I think, is pretty fair. Again, it comes in from a corner all the way back to the far post. Free man. I think Balde and Lamine there, very, very important. Let that runner go in on his own. Looks like Lamine was kind of zonal marking, but Balde was getting sucked back into one of the, attracting Vallecano attackers. The goal itself, it was, I think a little bit of a lucky finish. Bar down in, he hits out with any more power. It goes over, it hits the bar. I don't think Joel Garcia can really do much with it. But the amount of chances we missed in this game were absolutely horrendous. Olmo missing 2. Rafa sweat to Ferran that didn't come through on 2 different occasions. It just looked like this team couldn't really get out of second gear, and we're seeing this in the first 3 games. Mallorca wasn't that great, and the 2 red cards definitely helped us. And of course, it was a great cross from Lamine for the goal. Levante, we need to come back, but of course give the comeback where it's due. The Pedri goals, of course, the goal after it gets back in the game, and all this sort of things. Like, we have not played well at the start of the season. But I will say this, on the bit of a positive side, the reason why I'm not disappointed is that we've had a difficult start. Of course, 3 away games, haven't had a home game yet, with difficult stages. Mallorca, thank God we got that out of the way. I think that game mid-season would have been absolutely horrifying. We got the Vallecas out of the way. I think Levante away, we've had troubles there in the past, but 3 difficult away games. We come out at 7 out of 9 points. I don't, of course, us being champions, not making any excuses, but I think that's okay. We can definitely survive as long as we're not losing games. That's the most important thing. We have so many away games in those first few games. We're getting a lot of the hard games, I think, out of the way first as well. But it's not the end of the world. The only real concerning for me is not even the results. It's the performance. I think in the 3 games we have not played that well. The second half of Levante, of course, was great. I think the Mallorca game wasn't too bad. We just weren't scoring. This game was just horrendous. Like, we are not playing well. I don't think any of my teammates have gotten more than a 7 out of 10, which in 3 games, I think for the standard team is absolutely unacceptable. And I think mainly this comes down to pressure, intensity, and the way we started off the season hasn't been the greatest. Again, the final third is just, unless Lamine Yamal is running with the ball in space, it's so dead. You just know that Fran's gonna mess up, or Rafa's gonna make a weird decision, or almost gonna fucking sky his chance about 9,000 times. Like, it's just dead. There's just nothing there. There's no spark. Maybe with Lewandowski will be coming back after the international break, there will be something, but it just feels like something is missing. I don't know if I'm going crazy. I'm not saying we have to dive into the market and make a panic signing, but it just feels like something is missing in that front 4. But there's serious question marks to ask about the team performance heading into this international break. I hope we can just come out of it unscathed. But there were some positives in this match that we'll talk about in the player rating sections, but for me, not a good game. Poor performance from Barcelona, mainly in the attack. I think the pitch as well, the atmosphere, no VAR for the first half as well, was all kind of circulating around that fact. Once Vallecano scored as well, I knew we were going to make that comeback. It just didn't feel it was going to come to fruition. Not like the Levante game where we were building pressure, momentum. Then it just felt like unless there's an absolute golazo out of nowhere or a lucky penalty, we weren't going to create a goal, and that was evident in the result. So 4 out of 10 today. Very, very, very important performance from Barcelona today. Let's now get into the players' individual player ratings. We're going to start off with the goalkeeper, Juan Mamma Mia Garcia. 10 out of 10. He conceded a goal. We didn't win this game, but he still gets a 10 out of 10 from me, the most stubborn 10 out of 10 giver in the world. João Garcia was remarkable. He was so good, so unbelievable, that me, as a passionate Espanyol hater, was going to go give them another 25 million euros for him. That is how sensational he was. And I think we got a point in this game, let alone 3 points, because of João Garcia today. The amount of point-blank saves he made this game was remarkable, and a lot of them coming in from onside position as well. There, of course, those offside ones, and he just pulls out an absolute worldly of a save. But holy shit, that was a Ballon d'Or-esque performance, Ballon d'Or goalkeeper performance in this game from João Garcia. Everything he did was just written with gold to absolute perfection. Even near the end of the game, making point-blank saves when the team thinks that the player's offside, but they're not. Absolutely remarkable. I have nothing else to say other than that. 10 out of 10, man of the match without a shadow of a doubt. Into now the center back partnership. Firstly, on the left hand side, it was Andreas Christensen. I have given Christensen tonight an 8 out of 10. What have I been saying all summer? Every center back peak and at their fittest, Christensen is our best one, and he showed that today. I think there's the one learning point from this game is that Christensen should be starting at center back alongside Kubarsi. Yes, I know how he hasn't done anything wrong per se to get dropped, but this is life at Barcelona. This is the competition. He changed the defense off flick to see if anything can change, and what we learned from all the 3 games we played, Levante, Vallecano, Mallorca, the best defender, best center back was Christensen in this game. He needs to start against Valencia after the international break. I think this performance alone deserved it. The blocking, the interceptions, that last ditch tackle as well to stop two attacks. Firstly on easy alone in the first half. Second half on the left hand side made that challenge to block the cross that was probably going to be going, and who knows, Joan Garcia was on a mad one, but that the square to the sweat to the far post was wide open. He was absolutely remarkable, and I think his center back partner was the one dragging down the defense today. But Christian was absolutely phenomenal. 8 out of 10 from me. Center back partner, right hand side, it was Eric Garcia. 5 out of 10 from me. I think Eric Garcia today was very, very poor. Not poor enough where I think he was, disasterful his performance, but wasn't at his best. I think to start off with, he had some big chances in this game, some free headers that I would expect for a player like him to at least direct on target, which he didn't. I think his defending today was very, very, very sloppy. I don't know if it was the pitch, but falling over and all this kind of stuff, making challenges where he misses the ball, misses the player completely. He was, I was calling for him to be subbed. That's how poor he was. I would have took him even before the hour mark. I wouldn't say he was horrendous. He had some good moments as well. Some, in moments where I think, he did what he did, but I think he was way more on the poor side than he was the average side. The chances that he missed, the slips and the falls to give Vallecano chances on the counterattack. Don't think he was at the race today. 5 out of 10 from me. Into the fullbacks now. First on the right hand side, doesn't get much better. I think that right hand side was very, very weak. It was, of course, Jules Kounde. 5 out of 10 from me. I mean, listen, Kounde is one of my favorite Barcelona players, and the day that you don't perform, this is what happens. I don't think Kounde was that great either. I think maybe again this is his first start of the season. We don't know why he's not. He's been dropped. Maybe this is why that we're not seeing stuff like this happening in training. I'm more concerned today about Jules Kounde's decision making. I think his decision making, especially in those tight space areas with the press from Vallecano, weren't that great. I think he defended okay. He had some good aerial threats. I think some of his passing was solid as well, but it just felt like he come back from like a 9-month injury. It felt like he hasn't played in forever where he has been playing. It's just like some sloppiness, some, decision making where I expect a lot better from one of the best right backs in the world last season, probably the second best right back in the world last season. I have high standards for Kounde, and I think today he was definitely below what I expect from him. 5 out of 10 from me. Doesn't get much better at left back because it is Balde with a 5 out of 10 as well. Don't think he was great either. I think apart from that nice little burst he had in the first half, he was a bit nullified in this game. I think once he got that shin injury, where I guess maybe because the shin pad's a bit too small, he really didn't get back into this game too much. And I think there's a reason why that he was one of the substitutes selected from only 4 out of 5. I expect Balde to do a lot more going forward, which he didn't. I think his passing was one of the most questionable in the game. I think he was being very, very conservative with the condition of the pitch. Didn't see him go, making any overlapping runs for Raphinha whatsoever. None that I can remember. Anyways, a lot of them were kind of his attacks were with the attack, shifting and transitioning together. There was no overlapping run to, create space and some sort of threat. When Raphinha had the ball, and a bit, I guess, really mid from him to say the least. I think he defended okay in certain moments, and sometimes the Vallecano attacker got the better of him. So it could have been better from Balde. I do expect more from him. 5 out of 10 from me. Into the midfield now. Firstly, with Frankie de Jong, the captain on the evening as well. 6 out of 10. I think it was an average. Frankie performance, didn't do anything fantastic or poorly. I think he controlled the tempo of the midfield very, very well. Made some nice, slip and dodge, head movements, created some space, had some great turns as well. But this is what I expect from Frankie. This is, for example, Casado played like this, I'll be like, oh, Casado, 8 out of 10, whoa. But with Frankie, this is what you expect. He's a world-class midfielder, and he performed in such a way that we do expect from him. Wish he moved the ball a bit quicker. That's probably my main, criticism for him in this game. But overall, I think he played how he would usually play. Nothing too remarkable from him. Average 6 out of 10. His pivot partner was Pedri. Potter, phenomenal from Pedri today. 8 out of 10 for me. Another bright light. Him and Christian, of course, Joan Garcia were definitely the bright lights from this game, in my opinion. Absolutely sensational. I think his control of the ball, his tempo movement, his through balls, his chance creation were absolutely sensational. I mean, the amount of times he would just beat, 3-man Vallecano press and then just pass it for a great transition for Barcelona, and then we F it up. That probably happened about 4 or 5 times in this game. That was the amount of times where Pedri created Barcelona great counter-attacking transition threats, and we did absolutely nothing with any of them whatsoever. Some of them were actually big misses, to be fair, so we cannot ignore that. But I think Pedri was remarkable in this game. 8 out of 10 for me. Final midfielder who I'm going to be having an agenda against is this mother effer right here, Dani Olmo. You're barely fit, and when you are fit, you're skying, chances from 5 yards out. I mean, he missed like what, 3, I think, big chances. I think one of them, his decision was very, very poor. It was so frustrating because I was saying this is the game where he wants to arm Olmo because it'll be a bit open, but I kind of will actually come out Barcelona because they're actually, okay team. And he did exploit the space. I want to give a little bit of credit to Olmo. I think his build-up play, his read of the game, some transitional play was fine from him. But once we hit down final third, this man was shite. Poor decision, left, right, and center, missing big chances. He got Flick pissed. I mean, how do you make Mr. Nice and cool Hansi Flick pissed? He's sick of that performance from Dani Olmo like that in the 10. Very, very poor from him today. Should have had a goal. Should have helped Barcelona get 3 points today, and he didn't. 5 out of 10 from me. Into the wingers now. Firstly, on the left-hand side, Raphinha. Average 6 out of 10. Thought he played okay. Don't think he was, outrageous to the point where I'm thinking, 5 out of 10. He had 2 chances to score, missed them both. First one was the shot that he should have passed it from Ferran, but then he learned from his mistake, passed it Ferran, that Ferran missed. I mean, what can I really say? Was very, 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 very quiet in that second half. I think Flick did rightfully take him off. I don't know. It just feels like now there's these. We've had 3 games. I think in the Levante game and this game he's been a bit below average. In Mallorca he was okay, but again there's just that flair missing. I don't know if it's confidence or it's excitement or who, what, when, where, why, how. Maybe he needs to play the Camp Nou to get his juice back. I don't think he's been poor, but I think in this game he just really didn't have that spark that we see from him last season in certain attacking moments. So I'll give him an average 6. Still, he was very, very poor. I wasn't really frustrated with him per se. I think a lot of it came down to the attackers in front of him not really being up to scratch. Other wing, of course, right-hand side, Lamine Yamal scored the goal for Barcelona. Again, like Rafa, I think average 6 out of 10. I think apart from the penalty, what did he do? I mean, he had a nice little step over. That went out for a corner. I mean, again, didn't really. It was just. I wouldn't say he was nullified, but just very, very quiet from his side of the game, where you want to see him make an impact, you want to see the sparking play, you want me to get off my seat and see what he's gonna do, and he didn't do that. I think a little bit in that first 5 to 15 minutes. The second half, he'd get the ball, step over, try and find an overlap for Kounde, back inside to Pedri. When he go in the box, he'd bumble between his feet. And then the pitch as well didn't really help that means style of play. But it's very similar to Rafa, where you're just like, you just have expectation a bit more, and he's just not really, not saying he's not giving it, but just didn't really happen for him today. But I don't think he was poor enough where I'm saying, he did this and he did that and all that sort of stuff. But we'll give him an average 6 out of 10 for today. Last but not least, of course, up front, Ferran Torres gets a 5 out of 10 for me. I mean, apart from that nice little slip that he left for, who did he leave that pass for? Was it Olmo? Yes, he left this nice little layoff for Olmo to shoot, where Olmo should have scored. He just blazed it over. He was dead. I mean, he cried at Rafa for not giving the sweat. Then 5 minutes later, misses the sweat. Again, get me Lua back in this team. Yes, he scored a goal against Levante and Mallorca, but I mean, he's just so dead. It just feels like that unless we're desperate, I don't want to see him there. I'm at a point now, I'm like, might have to try Rashford up there again. Because, yes, his hold-up play is sometimes decent, and then the players miss the chance, which again, I have given him credit for, but I don't know, it just feels like he's a bit robotic. Like, he moves weirdly. Yes, he has a nice hold-up play, attracts some fouls, but when he gets those chances, he needs about 9 or 10 to score. I mean, look at the Levante game as a perfect example. He missed about 3 or 4 before he scored. Marco one was a bit different. I think he missed 1 before him, but he just feels like he needs like 1,000 chances to, bury one, which at Barcelona in the striking position, you don't got time for. But I think he was quite poor. 5 out of 10 from me. Now for the substitutions, the subs were Fermin Lopez, Rashford, Lewandowski, and Gerard Martin. Fermin really did nothing. Lua did nothing. Gerard Martin had that nice tackle in the 80th minute or so to prevent a chance for Vallecano. Rashford was shite. I mean, don't even get me started on what he did. Gave the ball away a few times, more than once. His corner delivery were absolutely woeful. He had that nice little run down the byline, but his cutback was horrendous. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, apart from Pedri, Christensen, and Joel Garcia, everyone else is just like medium poor. Like, it's just, I feel like I'm just a broken record on repeat. It's just so dead. He was definitely the worst of the subs. Team Blue. I didn't really have enough time to really get into the game. I think for me, Lopez tried a few things. He looked okay. Had that nice little back here where maybe he did a regular pass. Lewandowski could have stepped him through. But I think, you know, it is what it is. It's same with similar to Gerard Martin as well. I think Rashford was very much on the poor side for me. He gets, you know, I would probably say a 4. The rest can probably get an average 6. But the subs today weren't too impactful, to say the least. And last but not the least is, of course, the manager, Hansi Flick, which tonight for me will be getting an average 6 out of 10 as well. Take with the lineup, try to do something different after, you know, the little bit of, you know, boring start to the season. I wouldn't have made a sub at halftime, especially being 1-0 up, so I can't go to criticize for him. Didn't use that final sub, but again, I kind of agree with him. Like, who would he have brought on to really have an impact? Like, Casado wouldn't have done anything. I would have brought on Kubarsi, to be fair, for Eric Garcia's, but we can, you know, hone in on that a little bit. But I think there's not really much he could do from his perspective as a manager to have an impact on this game. I think his subs were really well timed. For Minna Rashford, I would have done that as well. I would prefer to get Lewandowski and Kubarsi, but I think maybe Lewandowski came on early. I don't know if he's fit or not. All these things you can't really judge and tell from a fan perspective, but what I can see, what you can judge is that we played 90 minutes. We weren't that great. The players were playing his system, but just weren't doing that individual brilliance part where you rely on the players to have an output. You can see how furious he was on the bench in certain moments as well. I think it's more on the players today than it is him. That's why he gets that average 6 out of 10 from me. So that was a match review for Rayo Vallecano versus Barcelona in La Liga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing on our first, of course, is your thoughts on the performance, your player ratings, and your manager rating as well. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca. Go,